Ngayong hapon na ito, susuriin natin ang budget 2026 ng National Irrigation Administration. Ang ahensyang literal na dinidiligan ang mga lupang sinasaka ng ating mga magsasaka. Hindi na bago sa atin ang National Irrigation Administration. Dati akong umupo bilang chairman ng inyong board 2014-2015 sa ilalim ng Administrasyong Benigno Aquino III. So pamilyar tayo sa mga issue at usupin ng National Irrigation Administration. Sa 256.5 billion pesos na nakalaan sa agrikultura para sa susunod na taon, 45.1 billion o halos 18% ang dadaloy sa irigasyon. Halos 1/5 ng total budget ng agri ay nasa NIA. Ayon sa President's message, 32 billion pesos ang galing sa NIA, 720 naman million ang sa DA. Ang magpapatubig sa mahigit 2 milyong ektarya ng lupang sakahan. May 500 million pesos pa para sa upland at maliliit na water impounding projects. Alam nating lahat, kapag dumadaloy ang tubig, mas masagana ang ani. Kapag walang tubig, walang tutubo. Mula sa bigas hanggang sa mais, hanggang sa gulay, nagdodoble o nagtitriple pa ang ani kapag may sapat na irigasyon. Nakakapanatag ng loob at kita ng magsasaka ang siguradong pagkukunan ng tubig. Ang tanong, nakakasabay ba tayo sa hamon ng climate change? Naghuhukay pa rin ba tayo ng mga kanal? Gaano karami sa ating mga sakahan ang gumagamit ng solar pump o kaya smart irrigation system? At tulad ng malayang pagdaloy ng tubig, di rin dapat tumatagas ang tiwala ng taong bayan. Paano sinisiguro ng NIA na ang bawat pisong budget nito ay dumadaloy sa mga bukirin at hindi sa bulsa ng korap? Ang korupsyon at ang pamamahala, sabi nga sa kanta ng misis ko, parang tubig at langis, ang haloy luhat paghihinagpis. Kamakailan lamang nagkaroon ng balita na isa sa dating empleyado ng National Irrigation Administration ay pinatay. Nais din nating malaman ano na ang ginagawa ng NIA tungkol dito sa usaping ito. Dahil bawat buhay ay mahalaga. At nais nating hanapan ng paraan kung ito'y mayroong kinalaman sa kanyang trabaho sa NIA, tungkulin ng NIA na hanapan ng paraan para magkaroon ng hustisya. And so we proceed. May opening statement po ba ang ating kasamahan? Maraming salamat. So we are ready to hear the budget presentation ng National Irrigation Administration. Engineer Guillen, our administrator, you have the floor.
Thank you. To the Honorable Chairperson of the Committee on Finance, Honorable Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, our sponsor and Chairman of the Committee on Finance, Subcommittee J, Honorable Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan, our dear Senator Robin Hood Padilla, and our colleagues from the National Irrigation Administration. A pleasant afternoon to all of you. It is our privilege to present before you the irrigation plans and programs of the agency for fiscal year 2026. This presentation aims to provide a comprehensive overview of our proposed programs, projects, and initiatives that are important in advancing agricultural productivity, ensuring water security, and supporting the livelihood of our Filipino farmers nationwide. As of December 31, 2024, a total of 2.17 million hectares, representing 69.3% of the country's estimated 3.13 million hectares of potential irrigable land based on 3% slope, have already been developed. This leaves approximately 1.03 million hectares still lacking irrigation. which will require substantial investments to ensure their full development and utilization. And the physical and financial accomplishments in fiscal year 2025, the agency achieved an obligation rate of 63%, a disbursement rate of 45%, and a physical accomplishment of 35%. While in fiscal year 2024, the agency achieved an obligation rate of 97%, a disbursement rate of 70%, and a physical accomplishment of 80%. With these accomplishments, we assure you that the agency will continue to uphold project standards and maximize the effective use of the allotments entrusted to us to deliver the intended outcomes. Here are the ongoing programs and strategic directions of the agency for the fiscal year 2026 aimed at increasing agricultural production and improving cropping intensity. The Irrigation Systems Restoration Program. As we continue to assess the state of our irrigation systems, we can see the widespread damage from unlined and scarred canals, aging dams, and gravel service roads that hamper the delivery of support and services to farmers. That's why we're actively pursuing the modernization of irrigation infrastructure. This includes concreting of existing earth canals to prevent water loss and erosion, repair and rehabilitation of aging dams to strengthen safety and storage capacity, restoration of the non-functional, non-operational irrigation systems, climate adaptation measures within our irrigation systems, and approving or improving the NIA service roads along the irrigation canals. For this program, only 15.7 billion was recommended, which represents 16% of our original proposal. And climate change adaptation works. Many of our irrigation systems still rely on manual gate operations, meaning actual people have to go down, crank open gates, and make on-the-spot adjustments based on weather and water supply. So to address this, we are continuing the implementation of the dam automation and modernization program. The project will not only enhance the structural stability of our irrigation systems, but also incorporate advanced monitoring systems and climatological data and flood forecasting. For this program, only 600 million was recommended, which represents 7% of our original proposal. For the restoration and repair of national, communal, and pump systems, given the increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters such as typhoons, earthquakes, and other calamities, we recognize the urgent need to restore, repair, modernize, and upgrade our irrigation infrastructure. For this program, only 14.13 billion was recommended, which represents 20% of our original proposal. And the improvement of service roads, we will prioritize the enhancement of service road within national and communal systems, which is essential for facilitating the efficient transport of farm equipment and harvested crops, as well as for supporting the operation and maintenance activities within our irrigation service areas. For this program, only 1 billion was recommended, which represents 6% of our original proposal. An irrigation systems development program. With the remaining 1 million hectares of potential area for development based on the 3% slope criterion, the agency continues to undertake feasibility studies and detailed engineering designs to identify and implement small, medium, and large-scale irrigation projects. These projects are designed not only to expand irrigation service areas, but also to integrate flood control, power generation, and water conservation measures for greater resilience and sustainability. For this program, only 16.26 billion was recommended, which represents 19% of our original proposal. Under the new National Irrigation Project program, as reflected in the NEP, the agency will implement the construction of 19 new and ongoing projects that must be fast-tracked to ensure timely completion. Among the priority projects are the Halaor River Multipurpose Projects Stage 2, the Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur Abra Irrigation Project or the Iniharap, the Tumawini River Multipurpose Project in Isabela, and the Balog-Balog Multipurpose Project in Tarlac. For this program, 4.98 billion was recommended, which represents only 17% of our original proposal. On the other hand, we are also scaling up small reservoir irrigation projects to serve far-flung, rain-fed communities with 3.4 billion, which represents 36% of our original proposal. This is PBBM's infrastructure flagship projects. We would like to highlight 3 of the agency's infrastructure flagship projects. First, the Iniharap or the Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur Abra Irrigation Project in Region 1 with an overall project cost of 37.5 billion. In 2026, we proposed 5 billion. Yun po kasi ang NEDA approved. NEDA proposed din. But only 1 billion was included under the National Expenditure Program. Second, the Tumawini River Multipurpose Project in Region 2 with an overall project cost of 13.95 billion. For 2026, we proposed 3.5 billion, but the NEP provides only 486.62 million. Lastly, the Balog-Balog Multipurpose Project in Region 3 with an overall project cost of 18.18 billion. In 2026, we proposed 2.22 billion, while the NEP provides 641.67 million. These figures show that while our proposal were anchored on the approved certificate budget of inclusion and also approved and endorsed by the DepDev, the allocations under the NEP remain significantly lower. We are now expanding our irrigation development from merely relying fuel to implementing solar-powered irrigation system. It is not just energy efficient, it also reduces greenhouse gas emissions, lower operational costs for farmers, and provides a more climate-smart irrigation option, especially in upland areas. For 2026, only 4.02 billion was recommended, which represents 13% of our original proposal. The construction of new small irrigation projects aims to generate new service areas that are not currently served by existing irrigation systems, with 2.1 billion, which represents 16% of our original proposal. The extension or expansion of existing irrigation service systems involves constructing additional irrigation facilities or structures to generate new service areas, provided the current water supply can support the expansion. For 2026, only 851 million was recommended, which represents 31% of our original proposal. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program Irrigation Component, or the CARP-IC, is a government support service that empowers agrarian reform beneficiaries, or the ARBs, through the development of communal irrigation systems within agrarian reform communities, identified, of course, by the Department of Agrarian Reform, and the provision of capability building programs. For 2026, 882 million was recommended, which represents 55% of our original proposal. In support to operations, many of our systems are dealing with heavy siltation, clogging up canals, affecting water flow, and reducing our system's efficiency. Our refleeting program, which supports our operations and maintenance mechanisms by providing much needed heavy equipments like excavators, trucks, and other machinery to help us desilt, rehabilitate, and maintain our canals and reservoirs. For 2026, 500 million was recommended, which represents 50% of our original proposal. For the irrigation management transport support services, all of our infrastructure and system would mean very little without the people who operate and sustain them underground, our irrigators associations or IAs. We are also helping